everybody, and welcome to another episode of Guys on Gaffr. It's Super League time. I think it's been a little while since we've done a Super League pod, and what better time to do it than a boost reset? And we are just about to come upon the carnage of the blanks and doubles across November and December. All three of us are here as well, which feels like it's been a while. We've had a few pods where it's just two of us. David's back, and Abhishek is with us again. David, come to you first. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. It's been way too long since the last time, like 3 episodes, I think. But yeah, life happens and work happens, so what can you do? But it's nice to be back again and talk to you guys again. And I've missed it, so let's do this.
Good stuff. Abhishek, how is life in India at the moment? It sounds very eventful from what we're hearing.
Yeah, I mean, just got the drums beating stopped for a moment, I guess, before it got started again. But yeah, happy Diwali to you guys and every one of the loyal listeners and viewers across the world. So yeah, it's been a while. I mean, in terms of football, team finally won. But got decent amount of decent amount of matches. Got to watch the Mbappe hat trick last night, which was really good because he is one of my captain in the triple. So it was really heartening to see after that Kane and Sane show. I really needed that Mbappe hat trick to go for my way. So it was really good to see last night. Cricket, as always, we're playing the semi-final against the New Zealand, so that was a good watch today. Apart from all the Diwali celebrations that we had in our locality and our house, so it was nice fun doing all those things, and yeah, good to see you guys again. So finally, for a change, David is back. So
Sorry.
So yeah. So how are you guys?
Yeah, doing all right. It's been quite an eventful weekend in the world of fantasy football, and I watched the first half of the Chelsea City game and decided I'm not going to watch the second half because why wouldn't I carry on watching one of the best games of the season? It's been a lot going on. Everton are doing well at the moment, which is nice to see. I'm not used to us winning away from home consistently. We normally get about 3 away wins a season, and we've just got 3 away wins in 4. So, and that's not even including the cup. Wow. So we're back to we're hopefully not going to have a season of relegation troubles, thankfully. So yeah, right. Let's dive in, shall we? I promise that we're not just doing Super League pods because we're doing well or anything. We're going to come to Abhishek first, but you'll see that David and I have had quite the week in Super League. Abhishek, your team is on the screen. One thing to note at this point, we are recording at just gone 7 p.m. on Sunday night, so there are still a couple of games to go, which is why you'll currently see on Abhishek's screen Triple has been played, but not loads of points. But Apenda is playing as we speak, and Murata is playing later on tonight. So yeah, talk us through how it's gone so far, Abhishek.
Yeah, as I start the show, as I said before, the start of the show, Mbappe basically what I scored 79 points, -4, that's 75 points, and 63 of them is scored by Mbappe. Not much since then, apart from Joao Cancelo's 7-pointer. Thank goodness he got those 3 performance bonus. Trippier with 3 points so far. Zaire Emery with 3 points as well. Anthony Gordon with 2 points. Pardon the noises, background noises. And I really don't know what Napoli is doing, but if you don't have Osimhen starting for you because he's injured, the next best player, you don't start him as well. How are you expecting your team to win? I mean, see, Napoli hasn't been the Napoli of last season at all, and there's some serious trouble going on around. So, holding on to Kavicha, I don't know how long till I hold on to him unless something happens. But it's the fixtures that forcing me to hold him at the moment, which we will talk about later of the show. But as of now, yes, those are the points that I have gotten. Rom and Openda is playing. Hopefully, we'll get the Marusic 6 point, which is there at 1 point now. But hopefully, I think the Roma and Lazio
No,
game
no.
has ended in a draw. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I will get those 6 pointer for Bellingham. And yeah, Openda and is playing, and Morata is playing late at night, and so is Sommer.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of points to be won, but hopefully the main two guys, Openda and Morata, scores me big, like Mbappe did last night. So yeah, at the moment, it's 79 minus 4. You can put a star on it because
Yeah, it's going to end up a
it,
lot more than that, isn't it?
yeah, it should end up, but fingers crossed.
Cool. Next on the screen is David. And look at that number in the top right-hand corner.
Yeah, at least for now, I'm number one this game week, which was a very big surprise yesterday. But I don't think that's happened in Gaffr before, actually. Even though it might not stick, but still very cool. So yeah,
For
I
you, it has not happened, but a couple
no,
of
I don't think
seasons
so.
back,
I don't think so.
I got a game week 1 rank. So this is your first time getting a
Cool.
game.
This is about me, bro. That's okay. Uh, I did get the Game Week 1 ranking champ man for some years ago, but that's like my one
Fake
thing.
game, innit?
Yeah, yeah.
Kidding.
So yeah, I'm on 169 points now for those listening. So I had the triple on Sané, Kane, and Mbappe. So 43 points for Sané, 35 for Kane, and 63 for Mbappe. I was very close to putting the third one on Saka, which I'm very happy that I didn't, because the emergency captain was the one that got the most. But I was like talking to people in the Super League chat, and like, yeah, he's a bit injury prone, blah blah blah, and like, okay, I'll just go safe with Mbappe. So I was like super lucky that I didn't go for him. But the rest of my team is very bad. Like, I have 4 points for my keeper. Ryerson got an assist, actually, so that was quite nice. But Dan Burn, I didn't know he was injured. Bellingham was injured. Wilson didn't play. Kubo got 1 point. So, and Raum is playing now. But yeah. And for once, I don't have bench points that I could actually get something from. Like the 1 week I actually needed to stay top, then I have like 2 points from the bench. So yeah.
Oh,
But very fun to at least have felt
I mean,
what it was like to be number one in the game week.
so far in the Super League, you didn't have that many bench points as of now.
No, I've had an awful bench all season, so
that's
good.
the thing with
I
two
guess.
premiums, isn't it?
Yeah, but we have
Yeah.
like some 4.5, 4.0 options that could get points, so it's not the worst. But I had for like 2 game weeks, I had Martin Ødegaard, and he's like not played as well. So I've had to like have Asinjon on the bench. Last game week he got 0 points even though he played. He got the yellow card and conceded. So yeah, I'm actually suffering from not having a good bench for once, which is unusual for me.
I mean, having Asignon is a decent one because he gets those performance bonuses as well. I mean, last week he didn't get it, but before that he used, and he is one of those nail defenders, a cheap nail defender. So yeah, keeping him is decent enough. But
He had a 5-pointer in game week 10, so that was he's okay, but like Belosian and Doe is not doing anything. So
no.
but I've gone into the top 100 for the first time because of this game week, and I think I will stay. So that's nice. I went from 193 to 57th now, so that's very good. But we should probably move on to you, Joel, because you're probably beating me this week, to be honest.
Yeah, it's going to be close. But yeah, I am game week rank 3. Also on triple, same 3 as David. And I have said it multiple times this season, but how swingy is this game? How swingy is this game? Like, the things like, you know, Lautaro Martinez scoring 4 goals off the bench a few weeks ago was when I last said it, I think. It's just crazy, really. I mean, I think in game week 10, I remember thinking to myself, Kane got like 23 points or something silly like that, and I'm like, I didn't play triple this week because they have Heidenheim in game week 12, and now he's got 23 points, and I've got to somehow match the incredible game week 10 score from my captains, because in that week Openda scored a brace, and he was my emergency, I think, and then Mbappe, I can't remember what he got at least one return. So there I was thinking, I'm not going to be able to match that in game week 12. Smashed it. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I think, David, I've calculated that the boost has gained us 78 points. Assuming you would have had them in the same order as I have: Kane, captain, Sane, vice, and Mbappe, emergency, which is ludicrous in a single game week. And also, it's quite lucky because we've probably beaten a lot of the game week 6 triples in that double game week as well. So it's a huge result for us. Similarly, the rest of the team is not brilliant. Trippier, disappointing 3 points there. My defense is all fairly cheap, so obviously the double Real Sociedad guy's got a half clean sheet, and I've got obviously Simmons, who scored today. He scored recently, so those points will register soon. Only getting Barrenetxea's 1 pointer off the bench for Bellingham rather than Maricic, who's second sub, so that's a shame. The reason why I didn't put Maricic first up was just because of the fixture for Sociedad was against the worst team in the league, but I'm not surprised that he only got 1 point at the moment with his Mins issues. So yeah, I've got Thuram to play tonight as well, so we'll see. I believe the other guy who's in contention for Game Week Rank 1 is FPL Duck, and he's got Dumfries and Morata to play tonight, along with Raum and Simmons. So it's unlikely I'll get Game Week Rank 1. I think Duck is probably the most likely to get it out of the three of us right now, but who knows, maybe Thuram or Hall. We'll see. So yeah, what a game week, up to 27th for now. We'll see what rank that is tonight after it updates again. But yeah, really good to get in the mix, having kind of been well outside the top 100 for most of the season. So yeah, onwards and upwards. And so we come to game week 13 to game week 21. Well, 22 is also on the screen, but the carnage is about to begin. The fixture ticker is on the screen, and let's have a chat about it. So for the benefit of the listeners, just to recap of the carnage. So there's a few factors at play here in terms of what's caused this. Leagues have winter breaks at different times. They have their midweek rounds of fixtures in December at different times. And obviously, like teams like the leagues like the German League and League A have only got 18 teams, so they have fewer fixtures over the season, and therefore it's at this point in the season, kind of around Christmas, that they have a bit more of a break. So we've got Premier League double in Game Week 14 and Marseille also double in Game Week 14, having had their Lyon game rearranged. Game Week 16 is a double for La Liga, Bundesliga, and Liga. Game week 17 is a double for the Premier League, and it is a blank for Liga, Bundesliga, and La Liga. And then game week 18 is a blank game week for Bundesliga, Liga. Game week 19, only Serie A play. So that's going to be a fun game week. We'll all have 5 players. I think this happened in season 1 of Super League, where we all just had 5 Prem players because the Prem only played in one of the game weeks. Game week 20 is normal. Game week 21 is a blank for the Premier League and League and the other leagues play, I believe. Yeah. Sorry. Yes, that's right. And that's it. So it's going to be chaos. And to add to the mix, we've got the new boosts. And the new boosts give me a right headache, which means the Gaffr guys have done a great job at selecting them. So let's go through what they are first, and then I'll get your guys' initial thoughts on how on earth do we approach the upcoming game weeks. So we've got Overhaul, as always. Underhaul, which is obviously just a free hit. We've got Away Days, ×2 for all away fixtures. Follow the Leader, which we've just had in the Championship game as well. So that's the one where you basically need triple ups. So your captain scores 2.5 times, and players from the same team as your captain score double. Your vice captain scores double, and any players from the same team score ×1.5. And then your emergency captain and all players in that team score ×1.5. And then we've got 2 league boosts. Bundesliga and La Liga, and interestingly, not Premier League, despite the fact that the Premier League has 2 double game weeks, which is very interesting. So, how on earth do we go about the next few weeks, guys? It's going to be fun.
Is it? No. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's I probably should have got used to this last season. How much have we played this game? It's just the second season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just as bad last time. I can't remember how I did, but it probably wasn't too good. I remember when you said it, like the crazy game we were just like 5 players. So that's basically some people might think, oh, that's a good underhaul week. No, don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you get just 5 players just dead end into it. But yeah,
With nothing.
the first thought I have before any other things like points boost is just like I will probably overhaul in the gaming 17 because
Yeah.
what else can I do? Like it's just 4 game weeks until it happens, and then it's like no one plays.
I don't know if any. I mean, people who have already started planning for this, the upcoming game
Yeah.
weeks, are probably in a good position. But I have not been really. I've been waiting till the boosts come out, and like the 3 double game weeks are 14, 16, and 17, so they are coming up imminently, and therefore we're going to want to play the boosts soon. So that makes things even harder because like. If you're going to do it without an overhaul, you're probably going to take plenty of hits in this period. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. And the worst part is like if you want to play follow the leader, for example, chances are you are going to players three players from a team that blanks for like 3 game weeks after this.
Yeah.
So how we're going to play an optimal double game week in 16 if we're not overhauling afterwards? So it like feels a bit forced almost, but like
Yeah.
it's what else can you do? If you have planned for this, you're insane, but very good on this game. But yeah, I probably should have planned for this.
Yeah.
Looking back, actually.
So yeah, Abhishek, before we get into the nitty gritty and the details of the coming weeks and the boosts, what's your initial reaction?
I mean, I don't have any crazy reactions, or my mind hasn't gone off the boil as of yet, because I kind of looking at the fixtures and my team is in such a shape that I don't have that many German players apart from Leipzig, and I don't think I will be playing follow the leader on Leipzig players because because of the only reason is that after 17 I have to take a look at shifting them out, and it will be quite tricky because this season we are seeing that we have to depend on our bench players, if not say every week, but most of the weeks out of 12 weeks that we have said, every time I think apart from 2 to 3 weeks, every squad of mine has received a bench player coming on for a player, whether it's Vinicius going off injured, Bellingham not playing, or somebody else injuring something mid something start of the game. So I don't think I will be having that issue because I don't own Harry Kane and Leroy Sané. But that doesn't mean that I cannot be jealous of those who own those 2 guys, because especially follow the leader band in the kind of form Bayern Munich are in. Follow the leader is really decent for those guys. So you have to critically plan what your team requires at the moment, because how depending on how your team structure right now is, because I don't think you have you now start to do something mad about it, because you kind of expect French players and German players should not be available after 16. So when to play though the boost is key towards getting a decent amount of rank, especially before game week 19 hits. Because game week 19, I'm sure some of the guys will be playing that gegenpressing boost, not gegenpressing, the Italian boost. I think they have given us
They
The
haven't.
Italian boost.
No, they haven't. No, it's La Liga and Bundesliga,
Uh,
not Serie
then,
A.
then, then it will be tricky. Then, sorry for that. Then it will be tricky. But yeah, I mean, out of all the teams, out of all the leagues, it's the Italian league that's not doing very well for us in the Super League. Only plays in game week 19, and out of that, only 5 players. Hell, I'm sensing there will be three players from my team. I'm not keen to add anyone as at the moment. Maybe in the forward option, but apart from I think Lautaro, apart from Inter Milan, nobody seems to have a decent run, especially uh, in 19.
Mm.
Maybe AC Milan, but yeah, as I'm saying, it will be quite tricky to navigate. But I mean, first of all, we have to look forward to the doubles first.
Mm.
Let's plan till 16 and then move along.
Yeah.
Have that buffer so that you can rightly move off to players having games in 17, 18, and 19 respectively.
Mm.
If you don't have that buffer, you will be taking lots of hits, and in the end, you will be sacrificing your position in the overall rankings because lot of hits will be taken after game week 16
Mm.
because people play to it what people play to the fixtures at hand. Now is the time to do some planning for the rest of for at least till 20,
Yeah.
because blanks till 20 the blanks are quite a lot. So yeah,
I feel like I'm going to need
you're quite
about to sit down and spend about 2 hours just trying to figure it all out. I don't have the time and
yeah,
brain energy this week. I'm going to have to do it this week. Uh,
yeah, I
right.
think you have to have a clear solution to that, because
Mm.
otherwise you can't navigate those blanks quite easily,
Mm.
especially in the Super League game, because where a lot of interesting players have double game weeks coming up
Yeah.
quickly.
So this is what's really interesting about the boosts, guys, right? So in theory, like if we were to avoid playing overhaul, which I think is quite unlikely that we'll manage this set, but let's assume we're trying to avoid playing overhaul because the points boosts are better. You've got away days, which is top 3, follow the leader, which is top 3, and then one of the league boosts, right? Now, there's only one double game week for La Liga and Bundesliga to play that league boost in. That is game week 16. Those are the only doubles that those leagues have. However, there is also only 1 week where you can max out follow the leader on doublers because of the restriction of 5 players from each league, and that is also game week 16. So, and also in game week 16, it's like arguably one of the best weeks for away days, because as long as you fill your team with doublers, they're going to have one away fixture, so it's quite easy to plan for. You don't even need to plan for away fixtures, you just need to get doublers, and they've got an away fixture. So I want to play all my boosts in game week 16, but that's not possible. You've got to pick one. Now, the other game week that's okay for follow the leader is, of course, game week 14, where you can have 5 Premier League players, 3 from one team, 2 from another, and then like 3 Marseille. And that gets you at least to 8. But that's game week 14, and like I'm nowhere near getting to. I've got 1 Marseille player and 1 Premier League player in my team, so that's a million hits away. So that's not really going to work either. It's really challenging, this. It's really tough. It's worth also mentioning for away days that there is only one doubling team in this entire period that has a double game week consisting of 2 away games, and that is Rennes in game week 16 with Waiter Toulouse and Clermont, whoever that is, Clermont Foot or whatever. And obviously Rennes are not an attractive team, so there's no like that means playing away days in a single game week is also fine, and I think that's where I'm leaning, because I think I'm probably going to play away days later on in the set, and because I've got the time to plan for it then. In terms of the other 2 boosts, follow the leader 16 makes a lot of sense, but if I'm playing that, then I can't play a league boost in a double. So yeah, maybe I should overhaul, max out follow the leader, and then worry about away days later. That's my early thoughts. But I really want to play a league boost. I'd love to play gegenpressing.
But like you're always talking about which boost is the best, so you should find out who that is and then just change accordingly. Because if you think the followed leader is the best one, I wouldn't like worry if I didn't get to play the league boost as well, because you're probably getting more points from the followed leader than the league boost if it doesn't hit like crazy.
I suspect I'm going to land on overhaul 13 or 15 to prep for the best possible follow the leader in 16, and then also
So
be
before.
set up. Well, yeah, because if I overhaul in 15, I want to set up my team as well as I can for the whole of the period. If that's not possible because of like doublers then blanking in game week 17, are you thinking 17, David? Like set up?
Yeah,
that might be better actually.
Yeah, because if you are going 15, you can't get any Bayern players, or
Yeah, that's fair.
or RB Leipzig or Real Madrid or
Because
PSG.
Yeah, if you overhaul in 17, you can get Serie A in because they don't have any doubles, but they have no doubles and no blanks. They just play a game every single game week, so they're not. You don't really want them for the doubles, but you want them for 17 to 21. So I guess you could overhaul in 5 Serie A, Premier League for their double, and whoever else to set it up.
And then you can just get those players that you had before the overhaul back when they start to get games again, because they're useless before that.
Makes
so
sense.
Like, yeah. I'm not too big a fan of away days in the 16 double, just because I think follow the leader is better that week.
Agreed.
But you can, I guess, get lucky with because in a double you can get lucky or unlucky because they can get lots of points in the home game and nothing in the away game. But if you look at, for example, Arsenal in game week 14, they have Wolves at home but Luton away. So you have the best away game arguably for a long time, but you can't set up for it if you haven't already. So it's a bit difficult. But most likely you have at least one City player which play Aston Villa away. Newcastle, some people have Everton away. PSG play LE. Who's that? At least a green fixture. So maybe not the worst.
Yeah. The worry in terms of like overhauling in 17 is I feel like I'm going to have to kind of neglect 14 slightly and not load up on doublers there. Maybe that's the best way to go. It might be the best strategy, to be fair. I mean, when I look at the fixtures they've got, Man United have got Newcastle and Chelsea. Do I want those assets? Not really. Newcastle have got United and Everton, which is okay, but not great. City have got Tottenham and Villa, not easy. And the other Premier League team, Arsenal, they have the standout fixtures, Wolves and Luton, as you mentioned, David. So I kind of want to go, what would I want? Maybe triple Arsenal, and then a couple of, maybe add 1 or 2 more Marseille. Yeah. Right headache.
I think it's fine to if you go for like Arsenal assets. I think it's okay to do hits to get those if you're playing a boost. But
the other thing,
those other teams aren't the best.
The other thing I'm finding difficult with my team personally is to get the good Premier League players I want for the double. I probably need to sell Kane or Mbappe or Trippier for funds. Selling Trippier is not ideal because it's like an extra transfer to get to 5 Premier League players. And Kane and Mbappe, like I want them in 16 for their great doubles. And then I'll have no way back to them. So
could you like sell them for 14 and buy them back for 15?
It might be too difficult because it might be spreading the funds around then.
Yeah, but if you don't,
it's that or sell players, and I'm gonna have to sell players like. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to sell players like Bellingham.
And
Sane.
To be fair, you probably want Haaland against Luton in 15. So it's not the worst to not have Kane for those two.
True. That's a good point.
Mbappe you probably want to have, but yeah.
Yeah, the only thing with Haaland is he actually doesn't double in 17 with the rest of the Prem because of the Club
But
World
then you
Cup.
buy Kane back for that week for him
Fair.
because it's the
16.
same price.
They're not the same price, but your point still stands. Yeah.
Yeah, close.
Yeah. It's gonna be, yeah. I don't know whether people who have only got one premium may find it a little bit easier at the moment in terms of
we're
things around.
speaking from a place of having two premiums, and that's a bit more difficult because you don't want to get rid of people that like Abhishek, they don't have Kane. They're not like rushing to get him now, but depends on who they have.
To put into perspective how restricted I felt as a Kane and Mbappe owner this week was I wanted to get Sane and I needed to find just 0.2 million to sell Kvaratskhelia for Sane. And it was really hard to find that 0.2. I was like, I could sell Trippier, but Newcastle are about to double. I don't want, and he's a great asset at the moment. Don't want to sell him. And then if I sell one of my other defenders, I'm like buying Assignon. He's like the only viable option because I'm looking for like a 4.4 budget or something. And then I looked at my midfield. I was like, I'm not selling Bellingham. Like, do I do Baron Echea down to a dud? I could have done that. The one I settled on was Appenda to Thuram as the move to gain me the money, and it I'm pleased I did that move. It's just tricky. It's just tricky. It's like if I want the likes of Saka or an Arsenal defender who's like 5 million, like Ben White or something, like actually finding that money involves selling a great asset, be it a Bellingham, a Kane, an Mbappe, a Trippier. Tricky, really tricky.
Yeah. I just got very lucky this week because I had the money for the straight swap from Ødegaard to Sane.
Nice.
I didn't need to take a hit for that, even though I had the double premium, and that worked out very well. But I didn't have him before that, so yeah. But it's difficult.
Yeah, it's gonna have a big impact on the final standings. I think this upcoming section.
I think it's one of the more fun times of the season because you will see so many different strategies and so many people get lots of points and then not lots of points.
Yeah, I wouldn't want this in every fantasy game I play, but in one, no. I like the challenge in one game to do all the planning.
Yeah, because this is like for many people, this is just like an extra game compared to like Fantasy Premier League or something, and it's people complain very much when things like this happens in Fantasy Premier League, but in this game it's just like it's the same for everyone. It's fun, and you have lots of boosts to negotiate with. So like, I think it's okay, but it couldn't be in the other games for sure.
It's one of the appeals of the game to me actually, because you really got a plan, and like it's like it is really difficult to know what to do and how to do it, but it's really interesting challenge. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it goes. Abhishek, he's been very quiet because there's been drums in the background. Do you have anything you'd like to say at this point?
It's still going on, but I think looking at the fixtures, I think if only Lazio had started the season better, we would have gotten a couple of Lazio players in, because now is the time that the fixtures really turn for good. I think they only play Inter in game week 16 and Napoli at home in game week 22. But from 13 to 21, they have Salernitana, Cagliari, Verona, Empoli, Frosinone, Udinese, Lecce, and Torino. So those are really good fixtures for the capability for a side like Lazio. If it was for last season, this season they haven't started decently enough. They aren't scoring that many goals under Sarri, which was very free flowing last season. So for cheap defenders to maneuver certain other heavy premium assets in a squad, you can look at those Lazio players, but certainly if you are looking to move on from certain heavy premium assets to somebody like, say, Haaland or Saka or let's say United Bruno for Bruno, then you need to have certain flexibility to in your squad. You need to have certain flexible players in your squad. But I think from 15 onwards, going to Haaland, it's going should apart from if you are looking to sell, let's say if you're looking to sell the likes of Mbappe or Kane, then I don't think going for Haaland suits anybody good because City is the only side that doesn't double for starters. Second of all, that fixture, although looks like a decent run of games, but priority should be given to the double players, right? So even if you, let's say, if you are taking out Mbappe, for example, if you're taking out Mbappe to maneuver a certain for a Premier League player, let's say an Arsenal player, then you kind of have to look at those things. What suits your squad? I mean, what comes first, points or fixtures? You have to look at from that view, I guess. I mean, in terms of let's
Points.
say, I mean, in terms of let's say I play follow the leader in 16. That's certain for everyone who is playing Gaffr Super League. Will be playing follow the leader in game week
I
16
catch
because
your drift
ideally
now.
this is
Sorry, I catch your drift. I know what you mean now.
so that's one of the reasons you have to look forward when to play your other boost. Let's say we have got La Liga and Bundesliga league boost right this season, and the only time that La Liga and Bundesliga teams double is game week 16.
Yeah.
So there is no, you have to look at away days or playing overhaul um, from that point of view, because even though you want to play a league boost, the fixtures aren't predicting or aren't helping you to play a league boost on this set, certainly. So you have to look at those fixtures. I mean, if I'm, let's say, look at, I have Mbappe, I have who are my premiums? I have Mbappe, I have Bellingham, and I have uh, Kavicha as my three premiums, right? So what I'm looking to do is get an Arsenal player already because those are the five plum fixtures and they double in both 14 and 17. So if let's say if we get news for Bellingham that he's out for at least 1 or 2 weeks, then I think Bellingham to Saka seems like a decent move, and then accordingly move towards what I mean. I'm not saying that you don't have to play a boost in 14 or 7. You can't play a boost in 14 or 17 where there is double, but I think holding those that away day boost for the later part of the season, or I think after 2022, after game week 22, is a viable option right now. Looking at the fixtures, because you can't play any other boost now. I think follow the leader is one boost that is certain for 16, but for 14 and 17, I think get as many double players and don't worry about the boost because I don't think it helps in terms of, let's say, to your team. It does justice in terms of whatever points you are going on to or you're going to catch. So I think mm, get as many double players. I think should be the priority as of
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've had an interesting thought. I think I've kind of worked out what the potentially good like overhaul strategies and maybe what the best non-overhaul strategy is. Obviously, we've talked about that if you play overhaul strategies, 17 is likely to be the best week for from the discussion earlier. But if you were to not play an overhaul, I'm actually wondering whether a league boost is better in 16 than follow the leader, because otherwise you could play a maxed out follow the leader in 16, but then the league boost can't be on any doublers elsewhere. So I'm wondering whether like a league boost in 16 plus a follow the leader on at least a few doublers, like not all doublers, but like a few doublers in 14, could be the play. Even if it's like 4 or 5 doublers in terms of multiplier, that might work out better than follow the leader 16 and like a league boost elsewhere. Yeah, like you wouldn't be able to optimize your follow the leader in that scenario, but the extra fixtures on the league boost would counteract that because you're getting 2 fixtures from the league boosts. I'd have to do a bit more digging on the maths just to check that that's correct, but possibly if you're not doing overhaul, that might be the strategy. Yeah.
I mean, the only caveat is that you are not gaining those fixtures that you're gaining in game week 16. So, so, so you have to, in terms, let's put points aside, let's put numbers aside. If you're looking at from a fixtures point of view, let's say you're playing a league boost. Let's say who doubles in 14? Is it
Premier League and
only
Marseille.
Premier League and Marseille? So 14 is not a decent enough option to play a league boost. 17 too. So if you're playing 16, let's say you're playing 16 league boost, let's say some league boost, but if you're playing follow the leader in 14, only you have to have English players, right?
Yeah, it's
And
potentially a little ambitious to suggest that maybe you could play. I'm trying to think. Maybe the way you do it is something like follow the leader in 14 with like triple Arsenal, like a couple of Marseille, and then like a single game week team that you already had a double up for at least.
Bayern Munich, let's say
Something
Bayern
like that,
Munich.
like a Bayern Munich, yeah.
Yep.
And then can you transition from that into a good 16 team? It's tricky. It might be a little bit ambitious, but if you're not going all out for 14, just getting a sprinkling of 14 doublers, playing for the leader on that, and then while retaining a lot of the players that you've already got for 16 that are already in your team that double, like your Bayern players, your La Liga players and such, and any Liga players, might work, because getting to like 5 Bundesliga and all 5 La Liga should be fairly doable if you don't transfer them out when you're building for 14. Seems viable. Very team dependent, I think, but some teams that may work.
The only thing is you put the nail on the head. It's very team dependent. First of all, second of all, not many people have Premier League players, especially Arsenal players. So if you have to have a decent follow the leader squad of, let's say, 9 players, then you need to prioritize getting 3 Arsenal players basically by 2 weeks, by with 2 free transfers, and everybody has 2 Bayern Munich players. The third one maybe Alphonso Davies. That's a pricey defender in itself. Which is the other team that you're going to get 3 players from? So it's quite tricky.
The question is if you're like prepared to not optimize the follow the leader boosts. If you feel like you have to have three players from each team, because you still get boost for 2 of them even though you don't have 3. So 2 Marseille players could be okay. The third one might not even get that much if it's a defender, for example. So you just have to look in isolation between the 14 and 16 for the leader, which one is the best.
The other sorry, Karen, David. Yeah, keep going.
And if it impacts your team because you get players that you don't want, and if you want to overhaul,
the other argument to potentially not optimize follow the leader, if it means you can then play a league boost in 16, is the fact that as long as you get the best triple up you can, like best triple up for your captain, to get the 2.5 and the times 2 on 2 fixtures, so maybe that's your triple Arsenal in 14 or something, like is it really worth trying to optimize your follow the leader for just times 1.5 on that third team, for example? Like, as long as you can nail that double game week on your best team to get those best multipliers, I feel like that's probably the most important thing on Follow the Leader, potentially. It's a thought, just a thought, because then you can just you can play the others on, particularly that emergency captain, just like pick whatever's best in your team at the time, maybe. And then the ability to play a league boost in 16 will offset the losses that you make in not optimizing Follow the Leader, because you've got a great double game week for, your triple buy-in for gegenpressing, in 16, for example. So that's a potential approach, maybe.
Yeah.
Should we move on to our one question? I haven't got a slide for it, but should we do that now?
Yeah.
Do you have it up, David, or should I read it? I've got it here.
I don't, just read.
Cool, I'll read it. It is obviously linked to boosts, but it does include an element that we've not talked about, which we can address. And it's FPL Forest at NFFC_FPL. What chip is best to use in Gaming 16? I'm thinking of the underhaul because my team is set up for the other doubles with Premier League players. So let's discuss, rather than what chip is best to use in 16, because we kind of talked about that already. Like, what do we think about underhaul as a strategy? Because we've not talked about that yet.
I think it's okay. You could, for example, just overlook the whole 16 double and just get whoever you want, and then just go from there. So you're not like forced to get those players for the 16 double if they are, if that means you have lots of blanks in the team afterwards. But it depends on if you're combining it with an overhaul, because if you do, I think it's a bit waste, because you get the opportunity to get out of those players without the underhaul. So, but it's interesting. I think if this was FPL, you would probably do it because there's so many doubles and good matches as well. And you can also look past like having to worry about the max from each league. You can just do that for that 1 week. But yeah, that's like the only positives I can find. But it's interesting, I guess.
Yeah. Abhishek, any thoughts on that?
I'm not too sure. I'm playing Game Week Underhaul in Game Week 16. 17, I may play it just because of the fixture and just because of the fact that I may have a lot of players that may blank in Game Week 17 to 19. So I may get out of jail by playing it on 17. But playing it on Game Week 16, when you have the opportunity to get double amount of points from your players, 2.5 amount of points from your captains, I am not so sure that playing an underhaul at Game Week 16, such a big double game week, uh, is a good good ploy. So either leave Game Week 16 alone for the other boosts, do not and not for underhaul. Leave Game Week 16 for rest of the boosts, for say follow the leader or a league boost. Certainly not for underhaul, overhaul, or any other thing, any other boost. For example, you can play underhaul in any other week as well. If you are so much sure of playing an underhaul, looking at how, then you can play at 17, you can play at 19, but only 19 is not a good option because you get to have only 5 players from each league, so that might be not a worthy shout.
No.
You can
But
have the
certainly
best players.
yeah, but
Yeah.
Game Week 16, you can do that. You can play Game Week 21 as well if you are really into playing an underhaul. Then Game Week 17 and Game Week 21 are ideal weeks to play an underhaul kind of boost. So do not play underhaul in Game Week 16. Absolutely not. David has said that yeah, you can, but I'm against it. I'm certainly against it. You will not maximize the boost that we get in Gaffr. If you want to maximize the boost in a big double game week, play the boost that fetch you bigger amount of points.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with you, Abhishek. the potential is just too great in Game Week 16 to waste it on a non-points boost like an underhaul. I understand the thinking though. Particularly if your team is, it's hard to tell without seeing the rest of your team, but particularly if you've got a team full of Premier League players, which it sounds like you have, and also like let's say some of your other best assets are all like Serie A, who you are going to want in 17 to 21 because they don't blank, but you're not going to want in 16. So in that sense, I do get it. But I think there's the potential for 16 to go really big on any of the point scoring boosts. I think it's probably not the right play. Underhaul in another week like 14 in terms of not being able to, in terms of it getting in the way of you building to 16 is potentially an alternative to overhaul. Or 17 like Abhishek has already mentioned. I think I'd only consider playing underhaul if I was making a plan and there was this one really sticky week that's really annoying me that I'm going to have a bad team for, but I can make a perfect plan by taking that week out of the equation, and therefore underhaul makes sense. I suspect when I do my planning and looking into it and looking at my own team, I'm not going to feel that way. I don't think there'll be enough value in the underhaul versus an overhaul, which can set you up long term and for multiple weeks. And versus the other strategies like the 3 points boost strategies. I suspect I won't play it, but I will definitely consider it in case there is that 1 week that's just annoying me, probably 14. So yeah, hope that's helpful in terms of answering your question. It's such an interesting one. Yeah. All right, anything else you guys want to say before we move on to our teams for next game?
No, let's move on.
Keep a look on the deadlines because if you miss the deadlines, you can't activate the boost and then you fall behind. And it's not always the same as in Gaffr EFL.
Yeah.
So be aware of that as well.
Speaking from experience, are we, David?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has happened once this season, and I don't hope it doesn't happen again. But I got lucky, but yeah, could go very bad. So
one thing you can look at alongside that one is that you've got to look at the flags as well, because a lot of players are on 4 yellow cards. You just have a look at that before the double game week comes up. Have a look at that cards and suspension list.
And also look for injury news outside of the Gaffr side, because it can be a little delayed. For example, had I looked at if I had looked at the Premier League app for Newcastle injury news, I probably would have got rid of Burn. But because I just looked at the Gaffr site, he didn't have a flag before the deadline, but did after.
Now, David, you should have learned that by now. Come on, man.
Yeah, I know, but yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be like me.
Look at predicted line. What I tend to do, if I remember, I don't remember it every week. Like I remembered about 15 minutes before the deadline this week. Look at predicted lineup sites, and there is one site that also has injuries.
You do it every week.
Huh?
Come on, tell us you do that every week.
I try to, but I nearly forgot this week. And might have missed something. It's just in case I haven't caught wind of anything, like predicted lineup sites, and then there's, I think it's sportsgambler.com or something, which has like injury news, but it's not always great for like people who've had knocks in midweek sort of thing. It's better for long.
I think RotoWire seems like the best predicted lineup website. If you're looking at it, they give us the injury list as well. I think who is out for that game, so that you can plan ahead, and you can who is out, then you can continue to follow that player progress, whether he's out for long term, whether he's out for short term. But I think RotoWire seems like the best way where you can get predicted lineups.
Yeah, I think RotoWire I find that useful as well. Even this week, there's an example. I was looking at Traore, who had an injury for Real Sociedad, and he was down on the RotoWire website as predicted to start, but questionable. So it was enough for me to play him on my team. But so that was really useful for me, and he did start in the end.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, Abhishek, your team is on the screen first. Any initial thoughts? Obviously, you've got 2 weeks to think about it. It's the international break, but any initial thoughts?
I think possible thinking is that get an Arsenal player, because kind of have 2 Premier League players already. So keeping in mind that fixture run for Arsenal. Certainly, Saka is the one that I'm looking to get him in, but the issue is that who to bring out. Possibly, now looking at my squad, Kavicha to Saka seems like the obvious move, but in these 2 weeks, we don't know whether the Napoli's manager will stay in his job or not. So have to look at that, but and also have to look at Bellingham injury news as well, for how long he is out or how much severe is the injury. Because he was at the bench in the Champions League. He was in the bench for the Champions League, but he was not in the squad even for the La Liga match yesterday. So have a look at that. So those are the two avenues for the Saka move, because I have one free transfer only. And apart from that, the rest of the squad is picks itself. Sommer in goal, even though he plays Juventus, but I think Inter will do the job there. Rom, Cancelo, and Trippier are my back three. The middle four is Zaire, Gordon, Bellingham, and Kavicha as of now, but one of them will be Saka. And my three forwards are Openda, Morata, and Mbappe. So so far Saka is on Saka is the main move, but I have to plan for the other moves as well, depending on the games coming up, especially in 14, 15, 16, 17.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
David?
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I don't know. Same as you with Bellingham. If he's injured for a long time, we'll probably get Martinelli or something, I think. Because he's starting regularly now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also need to check on Callum Wilson because he's injured. And there's not like a super obvious replacement, I guess, for him that I can think of right now. But yeah, and also my bench is injured or suspended. So at the moment I'm starting Belosian, but he's not playing. So yeah, I need to make a defensive transfer. I think that's like the first priority. I hope I don't have to take hit, but I probably have to because my team is I have the premiums I want, but the rest of the team is like very not good. So yeah, but at the moment
I mean,
it's Kane captain
yeah,
and Mbappe vice, and then I have to see.
That
I have
front
some
seven
time
is
to
great,
think now.
David.
So
That front seven is if Wilson was fit, that front seven is amazing. Just that defense.
yeah, I like it. Sane, Bellingham, Kubo, Saka, Wilson. Yeah, I just need to find a striker and
if you're
defender.
looking
Ideally.
for a replacement for Wilson, keep an eye out Gabriel Jesus injury news as well, or injury update as
He's
well.
injured also on the site, but I don't know if that's updated.
Yeah, but if he comes back, then he will start. He is fit enough
Yeah.
to start. But you can't anymore look at Nketiah as well, because he was dropped last weekend out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So the only obvious choice is Saka, and second one is Martinelli as of now, because Odegaard is, I think, has a slight doubt on injury list as well. So yeah, I mean, if you look at that, you have to really. That's why we say that. That's why we have said that look at the injury list, because there are quite a few decent players in everyone's squad that are carrying a few niggles, and with most of the doubles coming up, you have to keep a note on it.
Yeah, I'm. The problem for me is that I probably can't go above Wilson's price. I only have 6.8 to work with, and Gabriel Jesus is 7.9. So like, there's not much to choose from. It's like Felipe Anderson, Raspadore, maybe, but like other than that, it's not much. Aubameyang maybe can get him back again. He was a good player for me when I had him.
I'll say double. I'll
He's,
say double.
Yeah,
Is a
I
he's
value.
not
think
even
he
starting.
Is he not?
he could be a
No,
good
he's
option actually.
starting. He's not even starting today,
Oh,
and they're playing Lens.
oh, oh well, that was short lived. Anyway, yeah, I have to think about this, but yeah, I have thankfully 11 days and 21 hours. So,
21 hours.
So
and I'll need them.
for a second, I was like, "How do you know that exactly?" And I was like, "Oh, he's on the Gaffr website."
54 minutes to 30, 33, 32.
Oh, he's a master wizard.
Yeah, I know my. Yeah, go on.
Cool. My team then. If Bellingham is going to be fit, I don't see the value in making any transfers this week because a couple of things, I guess. Any injuries, I want that information. I want like 2 free transfers, just gives me more information. Any injuries that I can address, like transfers are about to be so precious. It doesn't make sense to use any in game week 13 and should have 2 free transfers going into game week 14. That being said, I should plan because if I do, I should still do the planning because I might decide, I need to overhaul or something. So we'll see. But yeah, likely to roll. If Bellingham is injured, probably very similar to what you guys have been saying. Bellingham to Saka sounds about right to me. If I can afford it. How much is Saka?
Yes,
More or less than Bellingham.
8.3.
Okay, so yes,
So he's less.
I can afford Bellingham to Saka. So yeah, that's basically me. Captaincy, probably keep it on those buy-in guys, to be honest. Maybe pop Vice on Mbappe, we'll see. So yeah, that's it really. And yeah, we'll have to get thinking in terms of the longer term plan. Also, I've just seen that Thuram has missed a chance that had an XG of 0.86, so that's a sitter. That's an absolute sitter. So that's a shame. But anyway, never mind. So yeah, that's my team. Cool. Any final comments, thoughts as we wrap up this episode?
Very nice to be all 3 again. Enjoyed it. So it was good to have all opinions back. I'm sure we're not. It's good to have the third.
Yeah. Yeah. You just cut out a little bit there, David, but it's fine.
Yeah, the only thing is I can ask is that if we get more questions when David is present for the pod, it would be lovely.
Yeah.
We were inundated with
Yeah.
questions last time, weren't we, for the championship?
Yeah, so it would have been lovely if we get more questions. But yeah, as of now, all the jazz, the likes, the shares, the stars, wherever you're watching in Apple Podcast or Spotify Podcast or in YouTube, it really helps us to do more content. And yeah, I guess that's it.
Very good. Yeah, I hope you found this useful in terms of just starting to get your head around what's coming. And yeah, we'll be back for another Super League episode at some point. When, who knows, because our next episode will probably be a championship episode. But yeah, it's been good. Hope you all have a good international break. Switch off from fantasy if you can before we go into the busy festive period. I'll certainly be trying not to think about fantasy too much, I think, particularly in this first week. But yeah, take care everyone, and so it's goodbye from me.
Ha det bra.
Namaste from me.